So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. iPhone 12 Pro Max versus Galaxy S21 Ultra full comparison. Now, I've had the Galaxy S21 Ultra for nearing 2 weeks now, actually like a week and a half or so. I haven't had it that long, but definitely I made the switch to this phone from the 12 mini. But how does it compare to its rival, the iPhone 12 Max? Well, let's just begin by talking about their price points. First of all, the iPhone 12 Pro Max, if you want to pick this phone up, it's going to run you right around $1099 to start. That's a 128 gigs. However, you can do a trade-in from Apple, but it's not going to be as high as the one on the Galaxy. The Galaxy does come in at $100 more to start at $1199, but they're offering trade-ins up to $700 off. Now, they both come in different colors, so you can get this thing in silver, gold, like a space gray. It's called graphite, Pacific blue. Over here with the Galaxy S21 Ultra, you can get it in their all new Phantom black color, which is very clean. You could get it in Phantom silver, Phantom titanium, Phantom navy, or Phantom brown. But those other ones that I mentioned, the titanium, the navy, and the brown, are going to be a longer wait, like 4 to 5 weeks. So keep that in mind. Phantom silver and black are the colors you can get really quickly. Okay, guys, so let's talk about their bodies and the build of both of these devices right here. I'm going to begin by talking about the 12 Pro Max. Now, the 12 Pro Max is the thinner phone. This thing is only 7.4 millimeters thin, but it does have stainless steel, which is also a little bit of a better material than the aluminum used on the Galaxy S21 Ultra. However, there is a con to this. This stainless steel does scratch a little bit easier in my experience. You could see I got a little chip right there, and I've been babying this phone and it's still getting nicked up and scratched up. So I don't really like that aspect of it, but definitely feels ultra premium here. On the back, Apple did decide to go with that textured glass, just like you see on the Galaxy S21 Ultra, so it's very premium feeling. Although there's one thing I don't really like about this build, and that's how, you know, right here on the camera, this stuff just gets really dirty because they put like a glass material in here, and it just gets really, it gets nasty around the cameras. I'm constantly cleaning this thing up over here. So overall, I just find that the 12 Pro Max gets a little bit dirtier than the Galaxy S21 Ultra. However, with them squared size, the flat edges, it feels like $1,000,000 in your hand. Super high quality IP68 Gorilla Glass on both front and rear. That thing is a beast in terms of overall build. Let's talk about the Galaxy S21 Ultra here. So you can see right off the bat, the camera right there is going to stay much cleaner just because they decided to use this textured glass. Really great choice here. The whole back of this phone is going to say extremely clean. Now, around the edges, you will get some smudges and fingerprints here on this Phantom black, but I haven't been seeing it scratch up too easily on that aluminum, and there's not a huge use of it because it's a curved display, so the display does wrap a little bit here around the edge, so there's not a huge use of aluminum here, just enough to give it that little shine in the corners. So overall, Gorilla Glass Victus on the front and rear of this phone. This device just feels ultra durable. So definitely I think this one might hold up being cleaner over time a little bit better than the 12 Pro Max. Now in terms of weight, this one weighs 227 grams, this one weighs 228 grams. So weight of these phones, they're both heavy bricks. So you're gonna have to get used to that. But which one feels more comfortable? I think because the iPhone 12 Pro Max uses square sides, it feels a little bit wider, a little bit less comfortable to hold than the Galaxy S21 Ultra. Other than that, they're pretty similar. If I can only pick one, I'm probably going to go with the S21 Ultra just because I like that it stays cleaner. That's really the only reason. But other than that, you're not going to go wrong with either. They're both definitely feeling the price you paid for them. Okay guys, so let's talk about the displays because they're very similar in what they offer up. However, there are some key differences. Now, the iPhone 12 Pro Max is a flat display, so it's more similar to the Galaxy S21 Plus in terms of its overall display. There is a notch here, and that is really starting to look long in the tooth. It's starting to look old here, but we do have 458 ppi on this display, and you definitely notice it. It puts it in a really high resolution right off the start, but you can't really change that. Now, you have 800 nits of usable brightness, and it's insanely bright. The usable brightness is crazy on this phone. It's like the highest you're going to get on a phone, and it's very addictive, to be honest. Over here, we do have True Tone, Night Shift, and Dark Mode. Now, the cool thing about the Galaxy S21 Ultra is their new Eye Comfort Shield kind of matches that of True Tone here for the iPhone. They didn't used to have a feature the same way. They had blue light filter, but now it adapts just like True Tone does on this phone. This does have Dolby Vision support as well, but I gotta say, if I go over here into YouTube and I punch in, The only thing that's just feeling a little bit outdated here is this notch. We just want to see it slim way down or kind of go away. And it doesn't really bother most people, but when you use a Galaxy phone and you see this difference, you'll definitely feel it. Now, it does have a 60 hertz refresh rate as well. However, somehow, Apple makes this thing feel like a 90 hertz. It almost feels the same way as the Samsung device, even though it's on a 60 hertz display. So I can only imagine what the Pro Motion is going to feel like on this device. However, they did kind of downgrade when they got rid of 3D Touch because their haptic presses are a lot slower than they used to be. Now over here for the Galaxy phone, right off the bat, if you go into display settings, you'll see that there is adaptive brightness, but over here, you can change between the 60 hertz or 120 hertz. You do have the eye comfort shield, which you can have it adapt like True Tone does, or you can set it the way you want. And then over here, you have vivid and natural mode. So you know you're going to get more customization, and it doesn't change here within display. You can go to WQHD mode, and this is going to bump it past the iPhone 12 Pro Max into 515 ppi pixel density. So it's a sharper display, it's a smoother display, and overall Samsung is definitely not going to let Apple have a better display, as they're one of the biggest display manufacturers. And I do think this phone does have the better display over the 12 Pro Max. This thing can hit 1500 nits peak. This one can hit 1200 nits peak. And you can even see right here, punch hole display. It feels closer to an all screen, and their curves have come way down over the past year, so it almost feels flat here. It doesn't really have a lot of accidental braces, but if you do want the fully flat one, go with the S21 Plus, although you won't get the super high resolution if you want it. This one does also support always on display and S Pen capabilities, unlike the 12 Pro Max. So I'm not trying to make the 12 Pro Max seem bad. It's an excellent display and you're not going to be disappointed. They're both OLED, but there's just a few more things that push the Samsung past it. So Samsung does get the win here in display. Now, when it comes to software, this iPhone, you know it's going to get updates more frequently than the Samsung device. However, Samsung is the best Android manufacturer lately as of pushing out these updates very quickly to your device, and they download pretty quick as well. They don't take that long to download either. This one does also have S Pen support with that S Pen software built in, similar to the Samsung Galaxy Note here. But what is the real differences between them? It's just down to the ecosystem. Do you like the Samsung ecosystem or do you like the Apple one? You know, you get a lot more control over here with Samsung. You get the edge screens with the split views, and you can do split screens and stuff like that, pop view. You can also do a lot of theming right from the settings menu itself. So if we go to themes, take you right to the Galaxy themes. In addition to that, they do have their own watches, computers, and stuff like that. It's just a lot more customizable, but if you just use them simply, they kind of feel very similar. Over here on the left, you do have an app library, which Apple kind of organizes for you. For the Samsung, you do have an app drawer. So this device, you know, simple like you're used to with Android, your own little app drawer in here, and you can make your own folders within here, more customizable. Everything about the Samsung is just more customizable. Does that make it better? Not necessarily. Do you want simple? Do you want it the way it is and you're used to it? You'll probably like the Apple device better. But if you're like a person who wants smooth, you want great hardware, but you also want to make it your own, you'll still like the Samsung phone better here. One UI 3.1, they found a way to mesh all their features with a nice cleaner look. The settings menu looks cleaner. The notifications area where you check out your quick toggles looks a lot cleaner on this phone. Everything about One UI 3.1 just has a better animation. You don't have that lag when you open up a game and you come home. There's just no lag. So if I was to say which one to get in terms of software, if you want to play around with your phone a lot, you want to customize it a lot, you want a ton of features and great hardware, get the Samsung. If you want polished software that just works and it works great every time, and you just want it simple, you don't want your phone, you want your phone to just kind of meld in with your life and not really have to think about how to customize and all that stuff, you'll love the iPhone experience. Now, we talked about the storage. They both offer 128 gigs to start, but I do have to say that the iPhone seems to do a little bit better when it comes to RAM management as of the recording of this video, meaning that even with 6 gigs of RAM, if I go ahead and reopen stuff, the Samsung device, after a lot of applications, will reload something versus the iPhone, which seems to be holding everything in place. So we might need a couple updates here or there, but I find the RAM management to be a little bit better for the iPhone. But which one has the better performance? Technically speaking, the A14 is the powerhouse here. It does have 5nm chip, so does the Samsung. But the A14 just has better Geekbench scores, better benchmarks. It opens some games a little bit faster. It can rip through rendering a little bit faster. So I do think that because Apple's controlling the whole experience, it's giving them the slight edge still over Samsung in performance. But you will not notice this unless you're really pushing these to the core. This phone right here is the fastest Android I've ever felt to use. It's extremely quick. It'll blow the doors off most Android phones out there. And the only thing I think can keep up is stuff like a OnePlus 8 Pro. Maybe, you know, the upcoming OnePlus 9 should definitely keep up with this. But there's not many phones that keep up with this Galaxy S21 Ultra. So performance, top notch on here as well, with a Snapdragon 888 5nm chip coupled with 12 gigs of RAM. If you go with the 512 gig model, you'll get 16 gigs of RAM. And the part everyone probably came here to learn about, and that is the cameras of these phones. Well, first of all, Samsung wins in terms of the sheer number of cameras. We have 4 cameras here. Apple, instead of putting an extra camera, they put a LiDAR sensor for some stuff you're probably not even using much right now, but you do have an extra telephoto here for the Samsung device, which will definitely give you a little bit more zooming capabilities. Now for the iPhone, what I like about this setup is that it's super consistent. Every camera is a 12 megapixel, so everything you do, it looks like it matches up beautifully. Even on the front, it's a 12 megapixel, and that means that it's so consistent. Now I find that the iPhone just produces more natural results that allow you to tweak and edit your photos in post a little bit more the way you want it to do. So those people who just want to edit everything, they want to make it super professional through their own skill, will like the iPhone results a little bit better. I find the Samsung phone to produce results that are definitely going to give you a little bit more punch right off the gate. You don't have to really edit anything, but you do have just so much more versatility with the Samsung. We could punch this thing all the way into 10x, 30x, 100x. It's just insane. You probably will never need this much zoom unless you're on vacation and something's really far. Let's say you're in California, you're far away from the Hollywood sign, you want to punch in 100x, get really close on that thing, maybe you're good to go. You're in France, you want to punch in on the Eiffel Tower, but you're far away, your hotel's a ways away, you can definitely punch in on the Eiffel Tower. You see what I'm saying? That's when you'll need the zoom. Other than that, I don't think you'll need to zoom that much. Maybe if you're trying to get a full moon, you're like, oh, look at that moon. This phone could hit the moon. That's insane. So definitely lots of versatility there. You also have more pro modes out the gate. So you can do director's view. A lot of these things you can do on the iPhone, but they're going to require third-party apps. It's built all into the camera here on the Samsung device. Portrait video, pro video, slow motion, hyperlapse, director view. And I mean, honestly, how much more features do you need on a camera? They both have the ability to tweak between their video settings right here in the camera, but Samsung offers you 8K, something that's definitely ahead of its time. The iPhone doesn't offer 8K, but so this phone definitely, just like with the screen, it's got to be a little bit bigger. It's got to be a little bit better here for Samsung on basically everything. You have a super steady mode here, and both of them do have the ability to tweak those aspect ratios right from the camera. So over here, I could just go up. You swipe up a little bit of lag factor right there. We can go 16:9 and 4:3. And yeah, very simple. Over here, you'll just take the camera and you'll go over 16:9. You can go to full, you can go to 1:1. But here's what I'm not a fan of with the Samsung camera. The front-facing camera doesn't match up perfectly with the rear cameras. It's not consistent with those cameras. They look a little bit different. The results, like a different sensor or something. It just doesn't look the same as the rear results. Not saying it's bad. It's a very good front-facing camera, very sharp. It can do 4K 60. But I just think the iPhone's front-facing camera matches up better with its rear-facing camera. But go ahead and take a look at some of these samples I did side by side, and you could decide which one you like the results better from. Okay guys, so here is a test with the iPhone 12 Pro Max. We're on this little bike ride right here. You can kind of see how the video does look. And then I'll show you what the Galaxy S21 Ultra looks like. You can also punch in, back it out as well. And that's kind of a take of the 12 Pro Max in 4K 30. Alright guys, so here is the Galaxy S21 Ultra. You can kind of see how the video looks. I'm on this little bike ride. And as we did with the iPhone 12 Pro Max, 4K 30. We can also punch wide. You can punch in while in the video and come back normal. Very nice capabilities here. And here is that iPhone 12 Pro Max video right here. You can kind of see my arm is fully extended. And again, you got to push this out just a little bit, but it seems to be a little bit wider than the Galaxy S21 Ultra. But this is the 12 Pro Max front-facing video. Okay guys, so this is what the Galaxy S21 Ultra looks like from the front. This is kind of how the audio sounds. My arm is fully extended here. You can see, and even here it's fully extended. It's kind of close, so if I bring it closer to me, you see it's really close. So you kind of got to have something to stick it out kind of far. This is 4K at 60. Now, when it comes to audio, they're both very exceptional. And see which one can get there first. Now, the Samsung Galaxy S21 does have a Snapdragon 888 on the Model I. Of course, both of them will have louder speakers at the bottom of the phone, so if you cover this part up, it's gonna sound very muffled. It does have itself 8 gigs of RAM, Adreno 660G. But I gotta say, I really like how full and clear the iPhone 12 Pro Max sounds at its highest volume. Now over here, for the Samsung versus iPhone 12, it sounds like it gets a little bit louder here, especially if you turn on that Dolby Atmos right there. Definitely punches up the volume. Speed test. Let's begin with a boot up in 3, 2, again. 1. The louder speaker does reside on the bottom of the Samsung, so if you cover that up, you're going to get a little bit of muffled sound. With the Dolby Atmos on, the Samsung sounds a little bit louder to me, but you know, it has a very clear, rich, full sound for the iPhone. So both of them great with the stereo speakers. Neither do have the headphone jack. So what about Face ID and Touch ID? Well, right now with wearing masks, you know, I don't know how long I'm going to say that. Hopefully we don't have to wear masks forever, but right now we're still wearing masks in society, and you know, sometimes you got to always use your PIN code with this iPhone. Hopefully, you know, Apple does some. I know they did some with the Apple Watch in a recent update, but that's not going to cut it. I'm not always wearing my Apple Watch. They got to find a way to get like Touch ID on there or something a little bit quicker as of right now. The Samsung does have a face unlock as well as an in-display fingerprint sensor. I kind of like the in-display fingerprint sensor a little bit better right now. I might even like it better even if there's no mask wearing, but sometimes the Face ID just seems more convenient. You don't really have to do anything but swipe right there. But other than that, you know, unlocking biometrics, they're both very secure in this respect. And in terms of battery life, both of these phones are pushing pretty large batteries. iPhone does have a much smaller 3687, and the Samsung does have a much larger 5,000 milliamp hour battery. But remember, this thing is pushing a little bit more resolution. It's also pushing, you know, a slightly bigger display, and it's not quite as well optimized as iOS experience. So I find that the iPhone sometimes can last longer than this device in usage. It's the best iPhone of the iPhone 12 bunch of devices, but they both charge very fast and fast charging, and they both easily can stretch through a day, no problem. Light users will be able to get 2 days of battery life on both of these devices right here. So definitely awesome. But the Samsung does feature its tried and true reverse wireless charging, something you won't get from the iPhone. One thing you'll like a lot about the iPhone is it has better standby drain. So if you just put the phone in your pocket, you're not using it, that standby is great. It sips battery. The Samsung phone, if you put it in your pocket, it's still going to drain a little bit of battery. And it seems to do this thing from like 100 to 90. It still does it to this day. It drains really quick. And then after 90, it slowly creeps down all the way to 0. So very good battery life on both. I'm not upset with either, but again, if you want the better standby, go here. If you want probably the better battery consumption when you're using all the power features, I think you'll like the Samsung more. And both these phones do rock different ways of charging. You do have Lightning port here, and then you have the universal standard USB-C for the Samsung. So I do like the USB-C better because you probably have that cable for other devices around the house. If you only have Lightning, then you can only use this Lightning charger with this. So, you know, a lot of people have Lightning cables, but I just want Apple to move to USB-C. They've done it on the iPad. They still haven't done it here on the iPhone. Both these phones do feature 5G performance, and they both have Qualcomm modems, so they're both very good in overall reception. You're not going to have an issue with either of these devices. So which one is the winner? No one likes to see them be equal, so which one is the winner here? For me, it's the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. The reason why it is this phone is because it's giving you almost every piece of hardware you get with the iPhone, but giving you a little bit more, an extra camera. You have that same kind of feeling back. It stays cleaner. It doesn't scratch as easy. It has 5G, a slightly bigger screen, more features on board, a smoother display, a bigger battery for longer longevity in terms of it holding up with battery health, because more milliamp hour, you should last a little bit longer. Yes, it has a $100 price tag more, but most people are not going to pay that full price with those trade-in programs and incentives that Samsung is offering. So for me, I think the Galaxy S21 Ultra slightly edges the iPhone 12 12 Pro Max. But when it comes to which one you should choose, that's going to come down to your ecosystem. If you prefer the polish of iPhone, you're getting 90% of what the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra is here without the S Pen. If you want to use Apple Watch, Mac, this phone is still a better option than this device. If you want to use the Galaxy wearables, you can use that on iPhone, but it's going to be a better experience here. The Galaxy Bud Pros, you can use the AirPod Pros here. If you're a Windows user, you'll probably like the Samsung a little bit more. If you don't have a computer and you want to use DeX, plug this into a monitor and keyboard, you don't even need to buy a laptop or a computer. Just get a monitor and a keyboard, a USB-C cable, plug this thing in, and you'll have a full-blown computer experience with the Samsung phone. So the iPhone 12 Pro Max, while it is definitely a pro experience, the only thing about it is the software doesn't seem to take that much advantage of it like the Samsung does. At this price point, it feels like you're getting the same experience as the $400 cheaper iPhone 12, just blown up. Now, if Apple went ahead and they were like, okay, we're going to give you 4 cameras versus the 3 on the smaller Pro. We're going to give you a split screen mode on this because it's a bigger phone. Those are advantages over the other phones, but this just feels like any other iPhone, just bigger. So thumbs up if you found this video helpful, entertaining, informing, and let me know which one you would pick down below in the comments section of this video. I will catch you all in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. Nick here, and peace.